Greetings and welcome to another excellent World of Tanks video in Severogorsk. We are starting this video off with game action. That'll be the most exciting way to start it. In the most exciting of the games which I played in my 38H. I'm going to show you another 10 games in a row so we can see what happened. And while that's happening, I'm going to lumber along and try to find some action because, well, you guys all know the 38H is no speed demon. Demon, yes. Speed, not so much. But it's a fun tank to play because it tests your ability to position yourself, and it really, really helps to make you a better player if you play some matches every day if you can. Now, to be honest, I don't play it every day. I had stuff that came up and I just didn't play it a couple of times or whatever. But for me, I would probably average 5 days a week. Now, some weeks I do 7, some weeks I do 3. So it's one of those things. It's just, I just go with the flow, baby. Just go with the flow. Whatever flow is there, I go with it. Now today, the 10-game match flow is a little different. Watch it, you freak. Got him. Today I had to do 10 because I want to, do the test. I want to see how many matches we get and what kind of matches. Not how many, because I'm doing 10. 10's the most it'll hold in the memory, so you can look at it one time, the snapshot. So 10 speaks for itself, but you got to do 10 in a row. Then you have to leave the game and come back to have all the other extraneous info fade out and just leave you with the match results. Very good. Wow, we have just finally lost our first and second guys. But we had a 5-0 streak going on the guys that were killed. I mean, I like this map. It's a fun map on all different levels. So we got to give credit where credit is due. H-35 Hotchkiss, adios muchacho. Now he's the same tank as I am, except the 38H is a later and more reinforced or, slightly upgraded version, but the hull is basically the same hull. So that's the Hotchkiss 35. There's also the Renault 35. I don't know the specifics between, the 38H, other than it must have a better gun, or, some other upgrades, minuscule as they would be at that time. Since this is a 1938 model and those are 35s. I never noticed that tower was on fire from the inside. You learn something new every day if you look. Now, I'm steering, of course, based upon what I see on the mini-map. And for those of you who may not know this, you can place this map anywhere. The default position is up high, but as an artillery guy, it always got in my way when I was trying to see how my shots were going in certain positions. So I said, I'm going to move this down low so I can keep the sky open. So in case you're wondering, that's why. Killer. One of the things that might help you out is when I'm playing 38H, as well as other matches. Yes, everyone likes to make a kill, but I play for the team, and I'm trying to help make the kills for the team overall so that we'll win. Some games I might make 2 kills, sometimes I might make 7. Whatever. I'm going with the flow, baby. Woohoo! 6 kills, 1,300 damage. That's almost a win every time. And I will take it. So that was a pretty fun match, actually. So what we're going to do is go look at the complete list of games. Now, I had already previously taken one 4-slot commander and made it into a 5. This one, as you can see, is close. A couple of games I'll be able to knock it out. Or one literal super game could do it. But I expect it to be a couple of games. And if you get bad luck, it could take 3 or 4. So let's go check out the profile. Okie dokie. Now, let's look at the 10 matches. So what do we have? Victory. Defeat. That's 2 and 1. That's 3 and 1. That's 3 and 2. 4 and 2. 5 and 2. 6 and 2. 7 and 2. 8 and 2. I will take that all day. 8 and 2, very good result. Now, let's look at these. How many Tier 3 matches do we get? It's real simple. The mines are all 2s. Everything else is a 3. So the Ghost Town, Severa Gorsk, those are all 3s. So we got a 3 and a 3. And a 2 and a 2 and a 2. That's 2 3s and 3 2s. That's funny. 3 3s, so 3 and 3. 4 and 3, 5 and 3, 5 and 4, 6 and 4. All right, that's 6 and 4. Now, what does that tell us? That tells us that 6 plus 4 is 10. Of course, I'm being facetious. That's a fancy term for joking. And at this time, it's not always the same, but, whatever. So what does that tell us? Well, now we know the last time I did this last week, it was 9 and 1. And I assumed that was an extreme result, and it looks like that's the case just after this one secondary 10-game test. Okay. Now, the thing you do know for a fact, I can't adjust this. Those 10 occurred in this sequence, with the top one being the most recent, going down, and the last one being the 10th game away, or the 9th game from the one not the one I showed you. The one I showed you was here in the middle, right here. This was the best game I had. I figured, hey, I'm going to show you the best game. I had several good games. I'm not really worried about that. I mean, I'm literally here for 2 things. Well, number 1, commander point building, all right? So that I can unlock commander skills for other tanks. All right, that's the number 1 goal. The number 2 goal, play the best that I can at that moment in that game. Try to win the game first. If all things are evil, man, I'm having a hard time speaking straight. If all things are equal in the game, I'm going to play to win the match first, score second. And now you can believe me or not, it doesn't really matter. It's fairly obvious when you see it. This is how my mind operates. Because it doesn't matter. I can play an extra game if I need more points. Or 2 games, or 10, or whatever it is. But one doesn't train to become a winner by not winning when you had the chance. You want to get into a position where there's, if there's a conflict and the game result is up for grabs, well, that's when you turn on go mode and you go and try to close it out. You don't learn how to close out victories unless you, spoiler alert, close out actual victories. Okay? Because what will happen is that you can't get them all. No one can. Okay? That's the first thing. So since we know that that is a truth, we try to win as many as possible. And if you fail to win it, you must figure out the real reason you failed to win it, not the fantasy reason that soothes your ego. I'm in the business of reality, not fantasy. If I made a mistake that cost us the game, that would be hurtful, okay? I don't do that to the best of my knowledge. You might make a mistake, okay? Things happen, bad luck of falling off a cliff, for example, whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about active bad choices. That I don't do. I don't make actively bad choices. But no one's perfect. So you're trying to shoot a guy and you miss. It happens. Okay? I don't like when it happens. In fact, when I'm playing matches with guys in my platoon, when I miss, I always admit that if the miss was my miss. That's what I do. That lets them know. When I say their gun missed, it was their gun. It wasn't me. I miss shots. Everyone does. So it's not like I'm perfect. No one's perfect. And if they say they're perfect, they're an idiot. And I'm not interested in dealing with idiots. Not just me. You can do whatever. Let's look at these. Let's look at a defeat here. It wasn't my fault. We lost on a base capture. Now, the reason I can say it wasn't my fault, I'm in a 38H. I don't have speed. I can't go back and make it back. I actually got back to the base, but I could not stop them. Actually, I came back to stop the base capture. I was killed at the base. My mistake. So, see, I just made a mistake in recalling what happened, and I realized what really happened. I did make it back and stop that base capture by the hair, the chinny chin chin, and then I got killed because they had more dudes back than I did. If you do your best, the losses that you have do not hurt as much because you need somebody to do their job better. And I'm not talking about someone who did a great job. I'm talking about someone who did a poor job and failed to execute. Many times we're in games where multiple guys going back to the base. You get back there, you do the best you can. You're just not able to stop it. But you have a good score like this one. My score is obviously very good. All right. So clearly it wasn't that I wasn't doing any damage or killing guys or whatever. There's only so much that someone can do. And so you can't say that someone failed to do their job when they did their job, but somebody else was responsible. So could I have done more in this game? Slim. If I would have had pre-knowledge, yes. Without pre-knowledge, the answer is no. I couldn't have done any better than this. Sometimes you're going to score, and sometimes you're not going to score, and sometimes you're going to score, but not score enough to make the difference. There's 15 people potentially on a team. I'm just one of them, and I am in this slowest tank. Hey, you got to take the positives with the negatives, okay? So it just gives you a good idea. I'm not complaining. I did the best I could. Whatever happens, happens. I'm just one guy. So we saw 6 Tier 3 matches out of 10. At least I can say if it's 50-50 now, which is still unfair to most players who aren't me or of my ability in the 38H. That's not cool. The real thing should be, and always should have been, 2s play 2s, 3s play 3s, 4s play 4s, 5 plays 5. No. The reason they don't do that is because they're trying to con you into, well, if it will be a lot better if you just got a higher level tank. No, it doesn't get any better. The only thing that changes is that the people in a tier 2 tank, when they're in a tier 3 match, if they're in a tier 3, that just makes the 2s into 3s, and the 3s are now 4s. And so all it does is steps everything up. And that changes the game. Some people like certain tanks over others. There's nothing wrong with that. They enjoy playing at tier 5, if that's what it is. It doesn't matter. Some people enjoy tier 1s. I hated tier 1s. That's just me personal. Okay? But I don't go around telling you, oh, I hate tier 1 tanks. There's no value in it. It's only spoken of here in context. I don't want to play in tier 1s, and I would not play in tier 1s. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you like tier 1s, that's fantastic. I was not the biggest fan of playing 38H. It's so freaking slow, but this is the best commander builder in the game. And so there is another positive attribute that comes from it, and that is learning proper positioning on maps. And that lesson is reinforced, because if you make a crazy idea and take off in the 38H and you find out that you're by yourself, either outnumbered or completely alone, both of those represent that you made a mistake at some point, okay? And if you survive the outnumbered version, you need to go back, and that could be a long trip because this dude is slow. So there's a lot to be learned by playing in a 38H. If you don't like it, I understand. If you hate it and can't stand it, we'll play some other commander builder tank. Now, as an ace artillery man, I build commanders in my artillery as well. So it doesn't matter to me. I can build them in sniper tanks too if I want to. It's just that per hour, the 38H is king, and it cannot be matched. Certain outstanding players could theoretically match it, but they're the outlier, ultra 0.1% or whatever it would be. The vast majority of players will score faster per hour, more points in the 38H than any other tank. There is no exception. It's blatantly faster. But if there's one of the other commander tanks that you like a lot, like the Astron Rex, the T-25 Vengeance, the Demolisher, the Eradicator, or the Earthshaker, awesome. If you like one of the 20% commander bonus tanks better than others, that's awesome too. It's not as efficient, but there's an efficiency factor, and then there's the fun factor. I say you're going to always be best doing the fun factor. Whatever's the most fun for you is what you should be doing. I get fun factor out of artillery. 38H also some, because I'm using it to train and build my skills and keep sharp. And the best way to do it is to play something that I really don't want to play. I'm going to be honest with you. If there was no commander bonus, I'm not in the 38H at all. The challenge of it is outweighed by the boredom factor of being slow. But you take the challenge plus the amazing points per hour, those are positives. I'll take the negative of being super slow. I'm willing to endure that negative for the two positives, because those are very positive. So that's just the thing, and that's why I'm working on this project. And I want to see. I know they have changed the ratio of tier 2 and tier 3 matches. If you guys don't play the 38H, or you're not that good at it, play it more. Watch the videos of gameplay in the 38H. It's sometimes not the greatest and most aesthetically beautiful thing because it's a little slow, The excitement factor is a little bit less, but it's the precision of placement that can help teach you. And in that case, these are very good. Now, all of our dudes do it in our group to some degree or another. And the one guy that hasn't done it as much, he's hurting because he has Cold War tanks with five skill and 6 skill commanders. It's like, dude, if you don't roll the 38H or some other commander tank kind of on a daily basis, ballpark, many times a week, you're going to fall behind and have inferior commanders. And sometimes, eventually, it's going to cost you. So, whatever floats your boat. I'm not trying to run your life or tell you how to run your life. You got to do your business. But this dude, it's a butt kicker. Let's look at this equipment in case you guys don't know. There's always someone new, so you can bear with us. But on the equipment, the reason we do this, I'm slow, I need tracks for speed. I'm slow, I need powertrain for speed. I like to have a long range vision. And this is max vision except for the addition of binoculars. The binoculars are the last thing you can add to increase this vision. This is a tier 2 tank with a 402 meter range. That's nasty. You can look at some other tanks. For example, tier 4 Hetzer, 340 meters. It's substantially shorter range than this in vision. That's to keep it fair, because that thing has a monster gun that you can put on there. And when you have the monster gun, dude, if you saw much further, it would be super unfair. If that thing's like a Death Star at tier 4. It's a 105 howitzer and it's a monster. And then last but not least, I have Fan, which behaves exactly the same as Enhanced Rations, which behaves exactly the same as Born Leader, which is right here. Born Leader. So I've got this dude triple stacked with crew perks. Now here we have the 10% point bonus to get your skills faster. Armor angling to make your armor 5% harder than usual. That's minus 5% damage. And then, advanced reload. So it shortens your reload time. So these are the things that are valuable to the 38H. Now the next one, I earn and put on there. It depends what I want. If I'm going to build a sniper tank, I would put binoculars right here. Let's go. We'll use this to access things that go on here essentially. Now, here's a good thing for you to know. On the 38H, the accuracy is so good, I don't put steady aim on there. I'm putting other things on there. And whenever I want to remove this commander skill set and put it on another commander, right before I do that, I would acquire the steady aim. Could be the 7th, could even be the 8th skill. It just depends on what's going on. But things that are coming into on the radar, rapid aim, which is turret rotation. Sometimes you might go Deadeye for, machine gun type shooters, because every time you hit, you get an extra chance to set the guy on fire. You have controlled impact for ramming, great on stuff like the Panzer 5.4. It's not called the Ram Panzer for nothing, all right? It's a butt kicker. Binoculars, like I said, if I'm building a sniper, I'm going to put those binoculars on there. The next thing. because you want to maximize your vision. You know, and then it just depends what is important to you. It's always good to consider stuff like fire prevention or pain tolerance. Now let me go show you some of the tanks that have some of these, just to give you an example. Let's go with these main dudes here. There we go. Citadel Tiger and Tiger 217. These are basically exactly the same tank. What do we have here? This has got 6. We'll go with this guy. So he's got 6 commander skills. We have the same ones you saw. Now the Tiger, once again, has a good accuracy rating, so I don't need to put this on there. This one has, you know, fire prevention and turret rotation. Now the Tigers have notoriously slow turret rotation, so it was kind of a forced situation. Let's go look at this just to show you. Again, you see the fan and the rations, and of course you saw the born leader on the commander. Let's look at the view range on this 450 on the Tiger tank. That's a tier 6, so that's cool. Now in the Tiger tank, you'll notice I can put armor angling. I mean, not armor angling, which is the commander skill, but I can put advanced armor, and on the commander I have the armored angling, so it's 5% for the commander and 5% for the tank, so it's minus 10% damage. If you don't do that on your tanks, it's costing you. You know, but that's your business, not mine. Okay, that was really good. Let's find... Oh, I was going to show you on the Tiger 131. Negative. Citadel Tiger. On the Citadel Tiger, it's going to show you the turret rotation. You'll see on the bottom left-hand corner, it says Citadel Tiger 1. Turret rotation speed 27.41, and that's the upgraded speed. That's with the rapid aim, which is turret rotation, and that's with gasoline. Double check this to make sure. One of the tricks you can do to check if secret numbers are up to date is remove the enhanced rations, come back to the garage lobby, come back in, look at this dude. Yeah, that was correct. No, I need this guy. He needs to go here. And again, this will be 27 point whatever. 27.41. That looks like the top rotation, so it's not good. But that's just, you know, one of the things. That's a good reload, though. 4.98 seconds is very good. All right, let's look at another one. I got a sniper tank right here, Martyr 38T. This is my top performing sniper. It just fits me like a glove. So this guy, advanced, you know, loading, speed, camouflage. It's a camo net, and vision. Now the vision on this tank is even further than my Tiger. This has the vision here on the equipment. Once again, we have the enhanced rations. And now let's go check out it doesn't have a turret, so there's no turret to rotate. We need to go check out the commander. Alright, now this guy is an 8-skill commander. And this is very helpful to look at what you put on a sniper, for example, that I used with a 38H. 6th sense. This lets you know if they're targeting you while you're targeting them. Enhances the binoculars, makes the vision further. Like I said, 461 meters. That's nasty. Muffled shot to reduce your muzzle flare, and your spotting will be less. Camouflage expertise on top of camo net for maximum camouflage. Faster reload, minus 5% damage. Steady aim, and born leader. So let's go check this dude out. What do we have on accuracy? The gun is This is, whoops, here we go, .28. I consider in this game .30 is the sniper, level that you need. And this is better than that. It's fine. All right. What do we have? Our speed, 51. That's pretty good for a sniper. This thing has a great feel for me, and that's the thing. The most important thing about a sniper tank is the feel, how it feels and how you handle the gun, how accurately you can maneuver it into position. And this is the best for me. It's perfect. I have a lot of other ones that are really good, though. But I'm just saying this is my favorite one. It just feels the best. Now, this is a tech tree tank. It has no silver bonus, so we can't be greedy. I have regular repairs one time. And I have a one-time use first aid kit because these are cheaper, $1,600 per game as opposed to $10,000. I lose money sometimes if I shoot a lot of shots and don't make as many hits as I would like to or should do. So you got to be careful. And on my ammunition, if we look at this, premium shots, I have 20 of those, and those cost $2,800 each. So I like to save those for the last. I want to use all of my regular ammo first for normal guys. But if I'm fighting in a tier 5 match, I'm going to use premiums for tier 5 tanks to kill them, hopefully, because they're thicker and they're hard to get through. So it's common sense. But I thought this was a great example of showing you some of the configurations by using my 38H commander. Oh, I didn't mention this. In case someone, is new to this for some reason. Now, 38H, 50% commander bonus for this tank. I use a 30% bonus commander. That's Heinz. So that's an 80% bonus. I already showed you, well, the enhanced rations is another 10% bonus. That makes it a 90% bonus. And on my commander, we have the quick learner. That's another 10%. That makes it a 100% bonus tank. So, for example, if I used another sniper that's not this tank, or not a sniper, but a light tank, okay? If I do the same damage, I'm going to make double what I make in this tank because it's a 100% bonus. So for every 1,000 points I'd make on another tank that's equal to this, by using this one, I'm going to get 2,000 commander points instead of 1. If you use a booster, like one of these, the blue ones are boosters. Okay, if you use one of these blue ones, you'll see on the far right rectangle that's vertical, bottom it'll show you ×6 bonus. That's a commander's 6 times bonus. That will multiply the amount of experience plus the bonus experience times the number 6. So, for example, well, actually, let's go in. I'm going to redo this. Whoops. There we go. I didn't use ×6. Oh, I ran out of ×4s. Okay, that's why I stopped. Well, I got my 10 and I ran out, but that's okay. I'm not going to buy one of those right now. But on the games that you saw, I used a ×4 commander booster. Let's go back and look at the Severogorsk game that I played. Okay, this was the best scoring of the day. So for a 4 times commander booster with premium, as you see in the bottom center, the yellow column with the blue XP. That blue XP is commander experience. I scored 34,800. That is very good for ×4 commander bonus. You're seeing the yellow on the bar is what I made in that game. Very, very good score. No question. Great would be if I would have scored like 1,500 damage. The more damage you make, the more yellow bar you're going to get with the booster. So when I play ×4, I'm hoping to be a ballpark average of around 30,000. That means I had a decent game, but it wasn't great. This one was very good, so it was 34,000. I've had bigger games than this. The biggest one I ever had was like, I had one with special case scenario of 115,000. But it's a monster. You got to do nasty damage. If you do, 2,500, when I did 2,500 damage in a 38H, I got like 80,000 with all the stuff in place that you see. I run this the same way every time. Booster of some kind, usually a 4. If I have a 6 or an 8, I'll use that too sometimes, whenever I feel like it. You hate to burn a 6 or an 8 and have a bad luck game where you're in the wrong match, heavily outgunned. That's how the game cheats you in that regard. But in this game, the standard one, like I said, I'm looking for about 30 grand if I have a ×4. If I get more like this one, I had a very good game, which I did. So it's pretty simple stuff. And I want to pound this. Now, usually 2, 3, 5 games, whatever. But right now, when I'm doing this, I've been doing some 10s because I want to fill the log with every slot. 10 is the most it will hold. And you can go back and look at the results, which I did. So I'm still not satisfied that they're not abusing the players. I believe they're abusing players because it should be much less. 3 out of 10 probably is what it should be. Ballpark what it was. It felt like it might have been lower than that originally, but I can't prove that because I did not study it in that regard, and they had no reason to study it. You play whatever you play 38H, and you get what you get. Whether they're ripping you off by shoving you into a bunch of tier 3 matches or not, you're stuck there. Okay, so go after it and get after the business. That's the thing. Whining about it isn't going to help you. Now, I'm doing videos and mentioning it so that people can see that this is going to be a trackable record. It's not by any means comprehensive. I can't really do that. I'm not going to play 38H all day, every day, exclusively. That would be super boring. Okay? So then just giving you a ballpark. I had 9 out of 10 that were tier 3 matches. This one, it was 6 out of 10. That's not horrible. That's close to 5 and 5, which 50% would be okay. But I am literally of the opinion that if you were an honest company, which they clearly are not, in my opinion, you can have a differing opinion, and that's your business. That's fine. I don't worry about that. I state my opinion, you have your opinion. If you want to state it, that's fine. And if we want to say, okay, I think that's too much, and you say, no, that's not too much, hey, it's fine. We'll just agree to disagree, and it doesn't make somebody a bad guy because we have a disagreement on what you think is a fair amount of games. I don't demand that you parrot everything I say. Be yourself. Doesn't bother me. And what I say shouldn't bother you. If it bothers you, you got a problem. I'm just letting you know. Because if you say stuff like that to me, I think it's too soft. If you think it's too soft that, say, 3 out of 10 was a tier 3 match, that's certainly a legitimate opinion. I don't share it, but I would go, hey, well, that's Bill, and he says he thinks 3 out of 10 is a little soft. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Just be honest. Be honest about yourself, and everybody's cool. It's no problem. So that's the thing. You can be honest and have disagreements that are honest disagreements. And, I say tomato, you say tomato, but we're still cool. It's no problem. But personally, I think what they should do, the system that I would do, because I'm not trying to abuse people. My system is real simple. 2 plays 2, 10 plays 10, 5 plays 5. Have a checkbox. Would you like to be able to play in matches with one tier higher than your tank? You'll get bonus points if you do. Check mark. Okay? Because if I'm really good in Panzer 5.4, tier 5, and I think, man, I feel like kicking some tier 6 butt, check, I'll hit the check mark. Put me into tier 6 matches. Okay? And then I'd have another one. Do you feel like you could, or you would want to participate in matches where you're 2 tiers below the top guy? Man, I'm awesome at this tank, whatever it is. Let's just go with the Panzer 5.4 again. I want to play up to tier 7, check mark. If you could select to join in higher matches of your own volition, I say more power to you. Sometimes I would do that in certain tanks, okay? I would be doing that in artillery because I'm that good in artillery. Yes, I have multiple tier 10 MVPs in artillery as tier 8. Multiples. So, yes, I would do that in tier 8 artillery. Go play up to 9s or 10s? Sure, no problem. If that's what my friends want to do, we'll do that. Otherwise, you want to just play tier 8? Okay, fine, let's play tier 8. And yes, I do have tier 10 MVP in tier 9 artilleries, a lot of them. And of course, if I have it in 8s and 9s in artillery, yes, I have them in tier 10 artillery as well, because I'm an artillery specialist. Okay, so that's the dealio. But I want to keep it fair and give people an opportunity. If they're excellent in some tank and they want to play higher level tanks, I say more power to you. Just like the people who aren't that great don't need to be forced to play higher tanks. They're trying to get better. So you want to say, hey, if you're in a 4, you want to play only 4s, fine. That's great. If you want to play 4s and 5s, fine. If you want to play 4s, 5s, and 6s, which they only allow for like 2 tanks now, I say fine, go for it. No problem. I'm in the freedom of selection, and I'm also for freedom of opportunity for people to do what they want to do. I don't like you forcing me to do something that's uncomfortable because it's in some ways unfair. If you have a free choice, it's fair for everybody. That's my philosophy. If you like that, great, leave a comment. If you don't care for that system, you can leave a comment for that too. I'll boot you out. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that. I don't mind if you disagree, because you can disagree with good reason and just be a normal person. It's like, well, we don't agree on that. Okay, fine, let's go play. It doesn't matter. All we have to agree on here is if we're on the same team, we're playing for the same goal. Best we can to win the game. Simple, not complicated. I want people to have more fun, not less fun. So that's how I roll. Anyway, Bernie is bugging me. He wants me to join the party. I'll go talk to him. But before I do that, please leave a like for this video. It will help spread the word. We'll try and get this information out to these people so they can see what's going on. Please tell your friends. That way they can keep track of what's going on here and possibly like and or subscribe themselves. So I am out before I get inundated with invitations. And it's a real pleasure to be here. Hope you enjoyed it. Look forward to seeing you again. And I am out of here.